Look, the next 5 years are around sending a completely different message around what this continent has to offer.
Welcome to another episode of the Art of Individuality on Between 10 and 5, a content series sponsored by Glenfiddich, where we explore creative mavericks. Today, we've got Mandla Sibeko, who's chairman of Netflorist and also co-director of the FNB JoburgArtFair. Mandla, it is absolutely fantastic to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's awesome.
Could you tell us a little bit about kind of what's your day-to-day spent on? How do you spend your average day?
My life is centered very much around my passions. Not to say that some of the things that I do are very easy, but you know, they're part of my business in terms of sometimes you have to face have difficult conversations with different people in a different part of the day or part of the month or part of the week. But I'm very fortunate to say that a big percentage of what I do now is very much what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. And you've got two very different businesses really that you're involved with at the moment. Netflorist on the one side, shipping flowers to people, and you're expanding into gifts now, I believe, as well.
Yes.
And then on the other side, the FNB JoburgArtFair. Those are two very different worlds. How do you put those passions together, and how do you make sense of that?
Look, I think you know, it's always been very difficult to pin down, or for people to pin down how do I manage? Because I've always worked in a very diversified and different kinds of businesses. Over the years, I've scaled down, I think, but I'm still involved in more than 7 businesses. Okay. The ones that are, I guess, known at the moment mostly by people is obviously the art side and obviously the e-commerce side, Netflorist. What a lot of people don't know is that I've actually been a shareholder at Netflorist for the last 12 to 13 years. So I've been very much been part and parcel of its growth. And yes, of recently, it's the excitement is around the new, I guess, direction the company is taking in terms of adding new things to it in line with this consumer growth that we're experiencing in South Africa, or people moving more into the middle class bracket. So yeah, there is a new bakery, an online bakery, and the gifting side actually started a couple of years ago. And so I've been kind of very lucky to work in so many different areas. I mean, a couple of years ago, I was one of the first people to open a Pick n Pay store in Soweto in 2008.
Wow.
And that on its own came as an entire packaged MBA on its own, just learning to trade in.
Here's the deep end, go.
That's it. Yeah. It was complete deep end, and actually that's the right word because I had literally 8 weeks to open the shop, to sort of refurbish the store, train the staff, train myself, be trained, and open in this location that knew very little about. And it's been an incredible journey looking back to then in 2008. But at the same time, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you never know what's going to happen. You know, like you start planning things. Like I tend to plan for things, and things happen. And so you have to adjust. The biggest asset an entrepreneur has is the creation side. If we don't create, then we don't have anything. So and I think creation is the future. Creation is the future of South Africa, and it is the future of the continent. And also, I think in a big way, we're going to start to realize that the future is not your big multinationals, the Coca-Colas of this world, the South African breweries of this world. It's going to be small individuals creating something that is unique and special in whichever communities they reside.
And there's a lot more opportunity like that opening up. I mean, South Africa is one of the, I believe, one of the places that has so many opportunities open for entrepreneurs and for people wanting to do their own thing. It's there's a wealth almost.
Yeah, I think South Africa's we're privileged in the sense that, and perhaps also crazy. I guess I call South Africans crazy in the sense that we have the best of the first world, and obviously we have a combination of first and third world. So I think the coming together of these worlds, which is really what South Africa, the new South Africa, is about. It's about making sure that we take one step up all the time to get to a better place. I think the next 5 years are around how does one help the continent, not even help, but it's really going to be geared around being involved in technologies that help to move this continent forward. I think if we're talking gender equity or closing the gender gap, we can close it much faster through technology. If we're talking around accelerating growth in health or whatever, I think we can do it much faster through health. And look, the next 5 years are around sending a completely different message around what this continent has to offer to the world. And I think a lot of my work will be centered around taking a very unique South African experience or a unique African experience to the rest of the world, because in my travels I still feel that there's still such a huge opportunity to showcase what we're good at. And
Mandla, thank you so much for joining us on the Art of Individuality. It's been great to have you here, and we look forward to following the rest of your work and travels.